It's time for Your Money. One of the best kept secrets of financial success actually doesn't involve a promotion or winning the lottery.
It's about being mindful of your spending habits. U of I Extension educator Kathy Sweedler is giving us a strategy this morning. Now, Kathy, can you tell us some of the best ways to save some money?
Well, I think really one of the best kept secrets is to track your expenses. Really, in terms of tracking, I mean like write it down or use an app or whatever, keep your receipts, whatever system works best for you. But really keep track of how much you're spending and where it's going for several weeks. Not only will it give you a lot of good data, but just tracking it will raise your mindfulness about your spending and will allow you to really think about, like, every time before you spend, do I want to have to write this down? So it does help you that way.
So then after you start keeping track, then what? What comes
Well,
next?
then you've got all this good data and you can start building a spending plan. And you can, with this data, make decisions about how you want to move your money around. So maybe you want to work towards a goal that you have. Perhaps it's a vacation or saving for a new car or putting money towards college education, whatever's important to you. Now you know this is where my money is going, and how you can decide, how do I want to move that so I can work towards these other goals?
Do you have any recommendations when it comes to cutting costs altogether? I know it can be kind of difficult, especially during a pandemic. I know people are being a little impulsive right now, but what recommendations would you have to help cut some of those costs?
Well, I think the first thing is to see, like I said, where are you spending money? But then we tend to look at what we call kind of flexible expenses, things that don't have a contract. So many people might look at how much are they spending on their food or on entertainment or on reoccurring monthly expenses that are relatively small, like streaming services or subscriptions, and then say, am I still really getting as much pleasure out of these, or are these things that I could cut back on? If you don't have leeway in those things, then you have to start looking at those bigger things, like rethinking, can you afford a car? Do you need to take in a roommate? Have I done comparison shopping for insurance lately? Those types.
And you mentioned those monthly expenses that occur regularly, but there are some expenses that happen out of the blue. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I call these my budget busters. These are the ones where we don't think about them until all of a sudden they show up. They might just happen once a year or maybe twice a year. And we've got a great list on the screen right now. Back to school expenses are coming up right away. Sometimes gifts. I have a lot of family that has birthdays in November. That's always kind of a big one for me. I have to plan for it. So it might be helpful to people to just sit down and think about it month by month and think, what are the occasional or seasonal expenses that apply to my household in February or March or April? And we do have a downloadable sheet that you can get off our Money Mentors website, if that would help you out with that too.
What about people who are living paycheck to paycheck, especially during the coronavirus pandemic? Budgets are really stretched thin at this point. People who are living paycheck to paycheck, are they able to save?
It's a challenge. I mean, and I get that part, but I really do honestly believe that if you can make savings a habit, even if it's $1 a week or $5 a week, and start putting that away, then when things loosen up a little bit, you may be able to increase that amount. So saving can definitely be a challenge for people, and right now is really hard. But I still think it's a worthwhile habit to build when you can.
And Kathy, you actually just had a webinar about this very topic. Where can people find that?
Yeah, we just did a webinar on the best kept secrets and talked a lot about spending plans and moving money around. And you can go online to go.illinois.edu/bestkeptsecret, and you'll see a video of it.
Absolutely. Just out of curiosity, when it comes to people who are saving money and they are getting this advice from you, what kind of feeling is that when they come to you and say, hey, this is great, you gave us amazing plans to come and save money? What's your reaction?
That's the best thing that could possibly happen for me. And it's happened to me. I've had people stop me in a grocery line and say, I've heard you talk and we started doing this, and you know what? It's working for us. And they'll tell me the amount, and it's not necessarily a large amount, but they feel so accomplished, and they're like, now we're going to do more because we got it started. That's why I can say with confidence that if you start with a habit, And even as a very small amount, maybe it's the change in your pocket, or you round up your checks, whatever, or your debit card takeouts from your account, whatever strategy you find that works for you, it will be self-fulfilling, and you'll end up increasing it as your income goes up, or you're able to manage expenses differently.
Most definitely. Always a good resource to have. Kathy, where can people find some more information? Because I know you guys do these money webinars pretty frequently at this point.
That's right. So I think we have a calendar event on our extension website. So you can go to just Google University of Illinois Extension, and you will find that we have a lot of different webinars. This summer we've been doing this Let's Talk Money webinar series. And our next one is on facing financial fears. And you can register for that one at go.illinois.edu/talkmoney. So we're having great conversations on these webinars and thoroughly enjoying them.
Absolutely, Kathy. And I guess I'm kind of curious about this right here. When is a good time to start saving for retirement? I know that's something, you know, in math class when I was in high school, I wish that my math teacher would have been a little bit more cognizant of. But what recommendations would you have when people are starting their first job out of college? When should they start saving for retirement?
I think first you want to build up a little bit of an emergency fund, so you have that to fall back on if for some reason your hours are cut or you're not working. But once you have a comfortable amount that you feel like would tide you over in terms of unemployment, then start. So you could be 20, 22.
All right, Kathy, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you today.
Thank you.